In 2009, the LeMoyne Center had to overcome many negative perceptions due to past performance of Grant's responsibility. They were left with no funding, no kids, and faced a bleak future. Camp Challenge was just beginning, the gym floor was warped, windows were broken, and the roof leaked. Electric service was even poor. In 2010, they added the new addition, and in October 2010, they started a homework program with 17 students. Their board consisted of a teacher, a retired teacher, a retired prison deputy, and only 2 community members. Camp Challenge also had over 20 conflicts daily. In 2011, they had 60 youth in homework and more, and over 40 of them had D's or F's on their reports. Now in 2016, the only debt the center has are 2 vans, which will be paid off in October of 2016. In addition, they get funding and support from the United Way, PHEAA, summer and fall feeding programs, and many other foundations. Currently for Camp Challenge, there's a waiting list of over 100 students. The gym floor has now been redone and polished. Windows are repaired and a new roof installed. Electric circuitry is also updated. There is an updated playground and new pavilion, and now 70 to 80 youth attend homework and more with programs like piano, Spanish, NutriFit, and drumming. The center has been painted forest green to represent their history. The board includes the same members, plus a lawyer, a CPA, and a college professor. Now they have annual audits, which started in 2012. And currently they are the #1 feeding site in Washington County, feeding over 400 kids 10 weeks in the summer. They are the only dual sponsor in the county. Last summer, for Camp Challenge, they reduced their conflicts to only 3 over 8 weeks, and the crime rate in the area was reduced by over 50%. In 2014, the youth's grades improved and was reduced to 8 out of 80 youth, finishing with a D or an F. Today, the LeMoyne Center is the largest feeding site, summer camp, and after-school program in Washington County. The American Girl Book Club has raised their own funding and traveled to Williamsburg, Santa Fe, New York, and Cape May. This year, they are headed to Milwaukee. Their piano class has also grown to 38 participants, with over 25 students playing in their 3rd annual recital. In 2014, they came full circle when 6 of the youth who attended Camp Challenge in 2009 went on to college, and resulted in them getting hired as camp counselors for Camp Challenge. In 2014, they began Coco's Christmas for the community and served over 500 people. In 2015, over 1,000 people received gifts. In 2015 through 16, they are beginning a new LeMoyne Community Center Summer School initiative in collaboration with Washington, Trinity, Canon-Mac, and Chartiers-Houston school districts. This program is designed to help level the playing field by getting more youth up to par with their education. They could use your help with any of these programs, including Homework and More, Camp Challenge, Summer Feed, or the new LeMoyne Community Center Summer School initiative.
Dean was born in 1953 and is the oldest of 6 kids who were raised by a single mother. Dean was born into a low-income family with a substance abuse father who was in and out of their lives with all odds against him. At an early age, Dean quickly learned he had to take on the role of protector for his mother, 4 sisters, and 1 brother. From that early age through to his mature years, Dean's acute stress response was always to fight. Although it took Dean a couple years, maybe a decade, to learn different techniques for the term fight, flight was and still is nowhere in his vocabulary to date. Dean joined Union Local No. 2 as an insulator in 1976 to help provide for his family, where again all odds were against him to advance as a leader. He was one of few minorities amongst hundreds of white males that followed the good old boy system. 2 years later, in 1979, he had an accident that left him with an amputated leg and a physically taxing job. Using his fight mentality, Dean overcame his physical disadvantage to surpass expectations and became the first black foreman in the Union in the late 80s. This triumph fueled his fight for pursuing equality for the community. Dean formally started his fight for the community in the late 90s as an executive director of the LeMoyne Center for 2 years. He continued his fight for the community by serving 2 terms as president for the NAACP Washington, Pennsylvania branch. During those 2 years, he was an advocate for the NAACP mission to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all persons and to eliminate race-based discrimination within the community. He lobbied for politicians that had the community's best interests and advocated for a more diverse police department. Dean continues to be an advocate for the NAACP mission and a leader in the community by staying active and engaged with political, educational, and social relations. Today, Dean is expanding his vision while embracing his entrepreneurial passion by focusing on clean food and product options for the community. Dean's vision is to educate and provide clean food and product choices to help fight against illnesses and diseases that plague our communities in greater numbers than others. As always, Dean Ellis is a forward-thinking, thoughtful leader when it comes to fighting for his community and will continue to be even after the torch has been passed.
A native of Washington, Greg Spencer's association with the LeMoyne Center goes back to the time that the gymnasium was being built. He recalls hustling pop bottles and going to the West Store to buy candy for the workmen. He graduated from Washington High School and attended Wilberforce University, graduated cum laude from the University of Pittsburgh, and earned a master's at St. Francis University. In 2009, he was the recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award from the University of Pittsburgh, and in 2012 presented a University of Pittsburgh's 225th medallion, which was created to honor individual alumni whose achievements have brought honor to the university and whose efforts have contributed to Pitt's progress. After serving in the U.S. Air Force, he joined United States Steel Corporation. Greg has always been a pioneer. His first assignment was as a laborer in the tin finishing department. He was the first African American to work in a U.S. steel finishing warehouse. He later moved to the personnel department as a personnel clerk. He went to school at night and weekends while moving through the ranks at U.S. Steel. Again, throughout his career, he was the first African American to attain certain levels and roles. Greg is currently president and CEO of Randall Chemical Manufacturing Company. Recently, he restructured the company to market their products internationally. Under his leadership, the company now ships products to China, Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Vietnam, and Korea. In 2013, Randall was named a finalist for the Governor's Export Impact Award. He volunteered to serve as the executive director of the Martin Luther King Reading and Cultural Center after it was closed by the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. He and his wife reopened and staffed the facility, recruited volunteers, and engaged the community in returning the center to be a safe haven for children. He was identified as one of the most influential people in Western Pennsylvania and a man of excellence by the Pittsburgh Courier. He has held board leadership roles at the Urban League of Pittsburgh, Leadership Pittsburgh, and he and his wife have endowed scholarships at Need, which is a college access program for predominantly African American students in Robert Morris University. He lives in the Oakland section of Pittsburgh with his lovely wife, Janet Oliver Spencer.
Hello, Washington County. I'm Robin Winston. I'm a proud graduate of North Franklin Elementary School, Trinity Junior High School, Trinity Senior High School, and the University of Louisville. I care so much about our community, and I am so honored that you're honoring me tonight. Unfortunately, I can't be with you, but I want you to know some things about what I've been doing outside of Washington, PA. Every time I come home, I make a trip to Hilltop Pizza, to Eaton Park, to Shorty's, and occasionally bring back some Icy Light and some Yingling. So I still stay grounded in my hometown. But I'm more proud about what you're doing tonight. 60 years of service by the LeMoyne Center. 60 years of making a difference in our community. You know, there's an old adage that says you make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. You all have done so much and made such a discernible difference in our hometown. Please know that the actions of you, your volunteers, your board, and your executive director, Joyce Ellis, have all made an indelible mark in our community. Alex Haley, the author of Roots, once said, "History is written by the winners." You've made history because you've made students winners. You've made the elderly winners. You've made adults who look to the LeMoyne Center for activities winners. and quite frankly, you made the people of Washington County winners. So, enjoy tonight. Go Steelers, go Pirates, go Penguins, and thank you once again for this honor.
Mrs. Frances Vactor, also known as Miss Funny, was a well-known figure in the community. She always tried to instill independence, pride, and self-esteem in people, and most of all, she just liked helping others. From the beginning, she worked diligently along with other parents, educators, and local pastors to make the LeMoyne Center a success throughout the years. When she was met with opposition about the neighborhood boys and her sons joining a scouting program, she took matters into her hands to find out where to purchase the necessary materials and handbooks and became a den mother herself, holding that position for years, introducing that program to the LeMoyne Center. She was a member of the House Committee who put on numerous events at the center as it became known. The ladies and gentlemen worked tirelessly, selling tickets for fashion shows, teen dances, award banquets, dancing lessons such as ballet, tap dancing, and gymnastics were introduced, dinners, etc. There was always something going on at the center to keep the neighborhood kids busy. The swimming pool run by Miss Crockett, the playground run by Miss Pearl Harris, and Miss Mary Peterson served generations of neighborhood kids. Arts and crafts, swimming lessons, and life-saving classes were available. Miss Funny felt the need to have a holiday function that would bring the young and old together, so she read up on putting on a cotillion. We were expected to learn how to waltz, which is where the older generation came into play, wear formal wear, and to act like cultured young ladies and gentlemen. This became an annual affair around the holidays. She later was elected president of the local NAACP and was honored at the banquet in 1976, where then president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Ralph Abernathy, as guest speaker. She fought for equality in the community and continued to represent the local branch at the national conventions as a delegate after her tenure was up. She was on the board for mental retardation, she was involved with the Meals on Wheels program, the March of Dimes, and as a member of the Nazareth Baptist Church. She loved helping people and was pretty much a mentor to generations of kids. Her smile was contagious and her sense of humor would have people laughing hysterically. She was a no-nonsense, hands-on mom, but fair. She was loved and respected by many in the community, and she is definitely missed.